Hello, everyone, and welcome to Sunburned Albino does a Souls game and Souls-like tier list. As you can see up here, I shouldn't have scrolled that far because an ad decided to take its opportunity. Oh, just did it again. Oh, just did it. Oh, there. Oh. Yeah, okay, so it is a template for Souls and Souls-like games. There's a lot of games in here that I'm surprised that I've actually played. And I know that I've done... So here's the deal, like, I did a tier list stream, like, a year ago that was just, like, a bunch of tier lists rolled into one. I feel like I should do a separate one for each of, like, the important ones, the important franchises, like Souls would be one, Kingdom Hearts, Pokemon, whatever. So I felt I should probably, like, redo those and re-upload them. Plus, there's more, a lot more Souls games in this tier list than there were in the last one. Souls-like games, that is. And I've actually played more of them now than I had back then as well, so this will just be better in general, and that'll be fantastic. We've got, like, a mix of soundtracks from the Souls franchise playing in the background. Runs like an hour and a half. I found the video on YouTube. And so if that runs out, you know we've gone way too long. Because I do have a habit of talking a lot without saying much as I try to gather my thoughts. You know what I'm saying? As evidenced by the fact that we haven't even started and we're like a minute and a half into the video. So, we've got S, A, B, C, D, F. We've got never / barely played. We also have a category for literally not a Souls-like because I don't know why Titan Souls is in this list. Like, it's not a Souls-like. You know what else really isn't a Souls-like is Hyper Light Drifter. I've played Hyper Light Drifter for a few hours. I would not put it in this category at all. I don't know why it's there. There's still a couple of these. We should just get, like, the ones that... Get them out of the way, so they're not, like, taking up space. You know, I've never played Ashen. I almost don't even know what that is. Blasphemous, I actually did buy... like a couple months ago and played for like half an hour and then I ran out of time and I never got back into it. But to me, it seemed like it was gonna be like as good as Death's Gambit. But so since I've still barely played it, I cannot give a pretty solid thing about that. Mortal Shell, I've played an hour. An hour's not enough to really judge it. It seemed like it could possibly be like an okay Souls game. So, you know, I might give that another shot if I have some time. Anything else that I haven't played? I have played Death's Gambit. I have not played Hellpoint. I have not heard of that. I also have not played The Surge 2, but I have played everything else. Everything else here I've played, so let's get it. We can start putting together a relatively substantial, talking about some stuff, putting them in some tier lists. Let's get it started. 3 minutes into the video, shall we? So we're starting with Demon Souls. I'm gonna assume that this is the PS5 version of Demon Souls, and even if it wasn't supposed to be, I'm going to impose that it is now the PS5 version of Demon Souls. That is the only one that I have played. You know, just came out recently, like a month ago or whatever. No, how did these ads get in here? We were doing so well without them. Oh, you're really annoying now. That's gonna make me have to, like... Alright, fine. We're just gonna take up more space than we previously would have. How about that? Like, what are you gonna do about it? Let me do some quick editing. Alright, you see that? You see that? You see how we have to do this? Why does it do this to me? I don't know. I don't know why they had to do that. Okay, but we put that more in the middle. I guess you're just gonna have to look at... I don't even know what this left ad is. The Gavri. What is it? Once daily at bedtime so you can learn acoustic guitar and put glasses on? I don't understand. And then you've got Quesadillas! Ooh, so Gen Z. What a great ad. Okay, so we were ranking some Souls games. Alright. Demon Souls PS5. Recently was the first time I'd ever played Demon Souls. I've never played the original Demon Souls. So this Demon Souls PS5, first time doing that. My first playthrough, I struggled a bit. Demon Souls is a game you really need to know what you're doing in it, like, more than other Souls games. This has more, like, invisible things happening in the background. It has more necessary, you could miss this and miss out on getting really strong type of deal. So, Demon Souls is a game, the first playthrough, struggled through it. Second playthrough, I was like, oh, this is way more fun now. Now that I know what I'm supposed to do, now that I understand how tendency works, even though that's a stupid mechanic, now that I get it, it's good. Like, that was a lot more fun. I think this is like the worst multiplayer Souls game if you're trying to do sustained co-op with, like, the same person. Because just the way, like, you have to be in soul form to be summoned, you have to be human in order to summon, but then the game punishes you for being human, because if you're human, you can get invaded instantly as soon as you get to the bonfire and die, and then you're in soul form, and it's like, oh, well, you need an ephemeral stone in order to become human again. There's only a really limited amount of those. And the game is, like, designed to not let you do co-op the way you want to do it, and it's very annoying for that specific reason. And tendency sucks, because the game actually punishes you for dying while human, which being human is something you're supposed to strive to. And if, you haven't completely figured out the game like the back of your hand yet, you're gonna die. And so then it becomes like you have to do soul form and just play the entire game with half your health and, like, prioritize the cling ring, which takes up half your ring slots. And it's like, give me 4 ring slots if you're gonna make me, like, force me to use one of the, like, the all-important ring. But so, there's a lot of well, they're not little things, they're big things. Like, they make a huge, the game is designed around these things. But as far as general fun is concerned, Demon Souls is good. It's a good game. Just ask this guy. It's a good game. And, the second, once you get your stride in, becomes a pretty good time. Yeah, it's short. It seems like the Souls game that's maybe the most masterable, just because it is short. There's not a whole lot to learn, but what you need to learn is very important. And I think, it's either an A or a B for me. It's either an A or a B. The things I don't like about it, I really don't like about it, but the things I do like about it, I kinda like about it, so yeah, it's a B. Demon Souls is a B for me. Dude, the Dragon God boss is the worst boss in the history of the franchise. Why would you ever put a stealth boss in a game that does not have stealth mechanics? Where he can totally see you through the obstacles you're trying to hide behind. Yeah. Like, yeah, it's a remake, but, like, you can tell that it was based... There's so much of it you can tell that it's based on a game that's, like, not modern at all. And, we've come past... We've made too many strides to, like, allow these things to slide. But it's still a B. Demon Souls draws my ire, but it's still a B. It has the most things that I hate, but it's still a B. Next up we have Sekiro. Shadows Die Twice. I never beat Sekiro, but I did get relatively close, I think. I played it for about a dozen hours or so. Streamed it until I was, like, not wanting to do that anymore, because it's too hard. Sekiro is, like, the hardest Souls game. Souls-like game. It's the hardest game on this list, for sure. In my estimation. Doesn't mean it's not good. It's really good, it's different. And so it's, it really is a Souls-like game. Like, even though the company that made Dark Souls made this game, it functions more like something like Nioh or, just any of the games that are different from the actual initial package. So Sekiro functions like that. A lot of your knowledge that you think you have when you have Souls games and are doing it, you go into Sekiro, that goes out the window. And you really just have to adjust yourself to playing a completely new game, which the same can be said about pretty much everything on this list that isn't Souls. But it is worth considering. I personally Sekiro is the game where I don't want to fight bosses. I love exploration. I love fighting regular enemies. As soon as a boss happens, I'm like, oh fuck, here we go. I'm gonna die 3,500 times, and it's not gonna be fun. Like, I don't know, just the parrying, like the specific, like rhythmically timed, like you need to parry every attack is too much. It's too much for me. I was not able to personally adapt to that situation very well. So, you know, Sekiro's really a rhythm game in disguise. It's Kingdom Hearts Melody of Memory. That's what it is. But that said, like, I recognize, even if I am not specifically tuned to play it well, that it is a really good game. I would put it on the same level as Demon Souls for me. In terms of, like, you know, and that's, for me, that's, you know, being nice, because it is a game that I can't play, or don't want to. But I'm still trying to, like, you know, recognize its gangsta status, you know what I mean? Next up, we have Code Vein. Code Vein is anime Dark Souls. It's co-op oriented, because you always have, like, an AI partner. And honestly, I really enjoyed it. I only played about half of it before. I don't remember what happened. Well, I feel like it was like sort of at around the same time as Sekiro. Maybe not. But I don't know, some stuff happened and then like I didn't get back to finishing it. But when I was playing it, I was really enjoying myself. It's sort of janky a little bit and it doesn't feel very polished. But the art style kind of forgives that because it's anime. And it's just very heavily stylized, and it looks really cool. And functionally, like, the combat feels nice. And even though enemies don't stagger all the time, which is kind of annoying, it's still got that same hook of good combat. And the bosses are cool, the ones that I did play. And I just like Code Vein. I feel, you know, when Code Vein was announced, I was really excited for it. I feel like it's not as good as I hoped it would be, but it was still, like, very enjoyable to me. So, like, I personally would also put Code Vein in B tier. We're filling up B tier right now. Next up, we got Dark Souls 2. Dark Souls 2 is my original... What would you call it? Is, my goal... I don't know, it's the first Souls game I ever played. And as such, I'm a really big fan of it. It's the one I have the most time with. It's the one I've spent the most hours on, which is the same thing I just said, but phrased differently. And then, it's also the game I've invested the most resources in, which is time. Time is the resource. I played it the most, is what I'm saying. So, and because it's first, you know, I don't have the whole, like, you know, Dark Souls backstory of, oh, you know, we've seen the progression from Dark Souls 1 to Dark Souls 2, and that's why there's a bunch of people that don't like Dark Souls 2 because they think Dark Souls 1 is the, you know, be-all, end-all pinnacle of gaming Souls. I do not have that perspective because I didn't play the first one until after I'd played the second and third one. But for the second one being my first one into it, it is the game that made me like Souls. It's the game that got me into it. So I really enjoy it. By the way, if you don't like Dark Souls 2 and you haven't leveled up adaptability, you should try leveling up adaptability next time you play it so you can actually have dodge rolls that work. Because I didn't know that at first. This is a very important key factor. You gotta level up adaptability so that your dodge rolls work. If you're somebody who likes the dodge roll, which I am. So do that. Or it's the agility stat specifically, so like your attunement will also level it up if you're a mage. But yeah, get your agility stat to like 100 and you're good. You can dodge stuff. And it'll be like, oh, it's like I'm playing another Souls game. And I feel like that would alleviate a lot of people's problems if they knew that. But so Dark Souls 2... is, to me, it's A tier, because I really enjoy all of it. Not the DLC areas, I hate those. I hate every single one of them. But the base game, Scholar of the First Sin, I mean, I could play that whole game in my sleep. It's a good time. It's got so many different good builds that are possible. Faith is actually good in that game, which you can't say about most Souls games. Like offensively. You know, you could do like your sunlight spears and whatnot. Like it's good. Magic is good in that game. I enjoy it. Yeah. I really like Dark Souls 2. Fight me, but don't because I'm horrible at PvP. Alright, Nioh is next up. Nioh is a darling to me. Nioh was my game of the year 2017. When it first came out, I played it. I was immediately, like, at launch, I was immediately like, oh, this is just faster Dark Souls, which is what I want. It's good. It's mobile, it's fluid, speedy AF. You feel like a ninja, even though you're a samurai. But you can also be a ninja because you can level up ninjutsu. So it's like, hey, you could be a ninja if you want to. It's really, really good. It has the best combat of any of these Souls-likes that I believe so. People have kind of shat on it for the enemy variety not being that good. It's never really bothered me at all. It just means you can learn the enemies better because there's less of them. I'm not trying to make an excuse for that, but like, it didn't bother me specifically. But I just really like it. The loot system is cool. Everything about it is so really good. You know what I mean? I'm personally going to put it in A tier. Because here's the reason I'm putting it in A tier, even though it was my game of the year in 2017, is because Nioh 2 goes into S tier. Nioh 2 is just like slightly better than Nioh. It's almost the exact same game, but a little bit better. And as a result, there's nothing above S tier, so if I put you in S tier and then this was a little bit better as like S plus tier, like I'm not gonna make that just for that. So you go into A, you go into S. Nioh 2, cannot recommend the Nioh franchise enough. It's so good. It's very, very enjoyable. If you're getting stun locked, please hold the L1 button instead of just trying to dodge over and over again because you won't make it. L1, you can block anything. Like, you can't get stun locked if you just hold the L1 button. So I feel a lot of people will play Nioh and they'll like sort of get comboed to death and they'll be like, I couldn't escape that. It's like, you could have, you were just mashing X instead of pressing L1. So press L1. That's gonna help you a lot. So that's cool. Yeah, the Nioh games are absolutely fantastic. Next up, we got Dark Souls 3. Doesn't have words on it, but I know it's Dark Souls 3 because I recognize that Soulless Cinder. Yes, I do. Dark Souls 3 probably has the best DLC of the franchise, even though I've still never beaten Madir because fuck him. It's a disgust. It's just it's the worst, awful, I don't even know how to attack this man dragon. Like, no thanks. Hate that boss. Hate that boss. Dark Souls 3 is like the hardest bosses in the DLC that have like ever been conceived. Besides Sekiro probably. But Dark Souls 3 is like, I like it. It's enjoyable. I could just say that for the rest of these games and then just put them in whatever letter. But that really is the gist of it. It's like, it's a Dark Souls game and it's the last one that there's been so far. And as a result, it feels like a more modern version of where the series started from, so that you get those quality of life improvements. And I don't know, the combat is like fluid. It's all good. It's just a good game. I don't know what else you want me to say about it. It's just it's a good game. Dark Souls 3 is good. Dark Souls 3 also goes into A tier. If you personally ask me, which you didn't, but I'm asking myself, which is why this video is getting made. Then we have Dark Souls. The original Dark Souls, which I ruined for myself by playing Dark Souls 2 and 3 first, and so then I was seeing a denigration rather than progression as the franchise went on, as I played them out of order. As a result, I do not have the nostalgia glasses that most people view this game with. And even playing Dark Souls Remastered, it was like, you didn't really need to remaster this because it's the same. Like, functionally, it's exactly the same what you just did. I don't know why you remastered. Yeah, I'm playing Dark Souls. Like, it's the exact same game. Demon Souls is like, you know, at least you did stuff with it that made it look like anything was different. Dark Souls is just, oh, you ported it, and now now it's 1080p? Like, okay. So, let's see. It's so clunky. It feels so clunky. It's the clunkiest Souls game. I don't appreciate the clunkiness of how clunky it is. It's a clunky, dark, clunky Souls. Darky, clunky Souls. Dark Souls, clunky Souls. It's... yeah. I don't know. It doesn't even have omnidirectional rolling. Like, what do you want from me? Because it's an old game, and that's the point, is like, it should be that, you know, not optimized because it was one of the first things they ever did, and that it's supposed to prove. The Souls series has done what it's supposed to do, which is get better with each iteration, and just gradually delegitimize the beginnings of where it started. That's what it's supposed to do. Get so good that the first games seem like absolute trash in comparison. Dark Souls is a game that I have played twice, and boy did I not enjoy it either time. So, and you know, it's like I said, it's my fault. I didn't play it in 2007 or whenever it came out. That's it, basically. What could have been if it had been the first thing? I mean, technically the first Souls game I ever played was the original Demon Souls for 5 minutes when I rented it. And then, I don't know, I died the first time. I was like, I don't want to do that anymore. I was like, what, 10? I don't know. You know, the Souls series was hard for me to get into. It took some doing, took some practice, took some determination and grit. Next up, we've got Death's Gambit. Death's Gambit is an Adult Swim game, which I don't respect, but I do think that Death's Gambit is an alright game. There's parts of it that are cool. I really like that, like, robot sniper boss. I don't remember what it's called, but I thought that was a pretty cool boss. And then there's just, I never beat it. I played it for like 4 or 5 hours. But I do think Death's Gambit is like, it's definitely lesser than, like, obviously Hollow Knight or Salt and Sanctuary, which are the other two 2D games on this list. But it's it's worth playing, which if it's worth playing, then like Blasphemous is worth playing. So I should probably check both of them out again. But like it's fine. I'll also, honestly, I would probably put it in C tier. Because it's an average game to me. Dark Souls is like way behind the times at this point. Death's Gambit, like, you can play that and have a relatively okay time. You know, it only came out like 2 or 3 years ago or something. So that's cool. Then we have Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. And, dude, one of the most surprisingly good games that has almost ever been released, especially with this sort of, the fact that it's Star Wars and I don't care about Star Wars. I'm not a Star Wars fan, but when I saw this and I saw how, like, Soulsy it was, coupled with the Metroidvania aspects, and just the fact that it was taking all this stuff from all these other, like, really good established games like God of War, Uncharted, you know, what have you. It seemed like a really nice cocktail of a bunch of different things all meshed together to make a Star Wars game that's actually really good. And it is really, really good. I am gonna put it in S tier. I think if you sleep on Jedi Fallen Order, you probably shouldn't be doing that. Even if you're not a Star Wars fan, because I'm not. But I think that game is tremendous. So I do highly recommend that. I don't know, somebody knocked it, some reviewer knocked it for being too gamey, because it has platforming challenges where, like, with like giant slides and wall running. It's like, yeah, that's how you the way you make a game is to make it gamey. Is like you do game-related things in your video game. Like, none of us are actually being fooled into thinking we're doing real life right now. Like, yeah, there's a slide that leads into a rope swing and that leads into another slide. Like, that, yeah, that's game design. That's how you play games. Oh, well. And those sections are fun, so, like, whatever. I'm not just like, oh, man, this made me feel like I'm playing a video game. I'm totally out of the immersion of the fact that I am holding a lightsaber and using the Force. Like, man, I thought this was realistic. So next up we have Hollow Knight. And there's really not a lot to say about Hollow Knight other than that it's like basically a perfect game, and so it goes right into S tier. I mean, like, pretty much anybody who's ever played Hollow Knight, I would think, would be like, yeah, that's probably an S tier game. It's absolutely perfect in just about every way. So good for it, you know? And this is the thing, like, if you look at how this is right now, we've got the actual Souls games that the Souls-like genre has derived from. We've got those, and a couple of those in, like, the A tier, but we've got clones, so-called clones, that are even surpassing it. And that's what I mean by game evolution. You take these foundational aspects, you spread them out, you improve them, take those blueprints, follow them, add a bit of stuff of your own, you can make something even better than what inspired you in the first place. Lords of the Fallen did not do that. Lords of the Fallen was absolute dog shit. You know what? I actually would even put it in an F tier. I feel like if I put Lords of the Fallen and Dark Souls in the same tier, people would, like, actually come burn my house down. So, yeah, I played Lords of the... technically, Lords of the Fallen could go into the barely played section, but an hour is enough for you to know that, oh, this isn't good. Like, this is, very not good. Then we, it's, you know, I mean, I said Dark Souls was clunky Souls. This is, like, fat clunky Souls. This is clunky Souls if you weighed 300 pounds. So that's Lords of the Fallen. Then we have Remnant from the Ashes, which is, like, gun Souls, because you actually use guns. But it still follows the same formula of, like, oh, you know, heal yourself, rest at the whatever. You know, different levels, got bosses, all that stuff. And it's got good multiplayer. Remnant has some of the better multiplayer. It's a very not polished game at all, but the multiplayer is fun. I think Remnant is fine. It's not very good. It's not very bad. It's probably like... I don't know, it's probably a D. A game like this that does what it does should have been way better. Like, literally, just copy Remnant, but give it, like, twice the budget, and people who are, like, better at making games, and you'll have something that's really good. Like, this is the nice foundation for something that could be really amazing. But that wasn't. But this should be, like, you know, this should spark some creativity in some other people, I think. Then we have Salt and Sanctuary. Salt and Sanctuary is the first, like, for the first spin-off game that I played that was really, like, Souls-like, especially in the 2D space. Salt and Sanctuary came out, like, a year before Hollow Knight, I think. A year or two. And it was the first game that I ever played that was a spin-off of Souls that I was like, oh, this can work in different formats. You know, like, other than just, like, the third-person action combat behind over-the-shoulder perspective. You could actually put this in a 2D platformer and get something that's really good. Salt and Sanctuary is a fantastic game, and it's a Metroidvania as well, like Hollow Knight is, because you get power-ups and retread older areas with them. So it really checks all my boxes of a game that's extremely good. And I do believe this was my Game of the Year for 2016. So if we take that into account and traverse our opinion 4 years into the future, I think you would find that Salt and Sanctuary probably gets an A tier. I would put it underneath these three. Like, it was Game of the Year because 2016 wasn't that great for games, evidently. Or, I don't know. Like, every year seems like a fantastic year for games until you look back a couple years later and you're like, oh, you know, actually there wasn't a whole lot of competition there. But because you're experiencing all the games in the moment, it just feels like this flooding onslaught. But it may also be the case that I just didn't play very many games back then. Like, I didn't get a PC till 2017. So anything before that is like all I ever played was on PS4, so that's all I had access to. Then we have The Surge. The Surge, made by the same people who made Lords of the Fallen, I think. I almost guarantee that. And you know what? They did a much better job than with Lords of the Fallen, but they still made a game that was, like, not... You know. It was just like, you don't gotta play it. Some clones, it's like, yeah, you gotta play it, because look what they did with it. You know, that's what Star Wars, Nioh, all these S and A tier games. B tier, even. But with The Surge, it's like, you could just avoid it. Just avoid what's happening here. And then I don't know if The Surge 2 was better than The Surge. I guess any of you could tell me if that was the case, but I personally was not that interested. This game only has, like, what, like 4 bosses or something? And I just, you know, the whole dismemberment stuff didn't vibe with me. The whole, like, you got horizontal and vertical dodges now. I don't know. It was a valiant effort, but I was not invested in it. And then last and definitely not least, we have Bloodborne. Bloodborne is probably a primo example of what can be done with this franchise if you do it in, like, the same vein, but just change the setting. Like, there's so many different, like, I'm still waiting on them that they should... From Software should just make games like Bloodborne, but just change the setting every time. Like, you know, get us, like, a futuristic sci-fi whatever, get us, like, a... I don't know, like a cartoony... something. You know, just different things of that nature. So that would be good. Because I would play every single one of them. You know, you just adjust the combat and the themes and the enemies and the story and all that accordingly, and you could just basically remake the same game in a different place, like every 2 or 3 years, and have blockbuster hits on your hands every time. So Bloodborne is S tier. I think Bloodborne is the best game that is made by From Software. And I will stand by that. Even to the... People still play it to this day. And I'm not really one of them, but, like, I guess I sort of... Like, I revisited it a couple months ago. I still wish that you could just choose your weapon at the start, like any weapon that you wanted. Especially after you've beaten it 7 times. Like, let me unlock the ability to just pick my build from the get-go instead of having to waste 75% of the game to, like, actually get it, the weapon necessary that I'm looking for. You know, especially, like, you know, like, I want to do a Burial Blade build. Oh, I have to beat the entire game first? Okay. So, yeah. I think player choice could be expanded in that regard in the beginning. At least for people who've already beaten the game. But so this is the list. S tier, we got Bloodborne, Hollow Knight, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, and Nioh 2. A tier, we got Dark Souls 2, Nioh, Dark Souls 3, and Salt and Sanctuary. B tier heads up with Demon Souls, Sekiro, and Code Vein. C tier gets Death's Gambit all by its lonesome. D tier is original Dark Souls, Remnant from the Ashes, and The Surge. And then the lone F tier is Lords of the Fallen. And there you have it. That's the Souls tier list. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, you can like, share, and subscribe and whatnot, and I will see you guys next time.